Sound may not be able to travel in space, but the universe is always talking to us. Every moon, every planet, every system has its own sounds and language. And as we continue to explore space, we're introduced to more and more of them. But not all of these noises are pleasant and welcoming. Welcome to Factnomenal, and today let's review the strangest recordings NASA has ever captured in space. Human ears are specially designed to translate changing pressures traveling through a medium, that is, sound waves. Without the medium, these sound waves are rendered mute, and as space is a vacuum, sound waves cannot be heard through it. But many other waves can still traverse through a vacuum, such as radio waves. Thanks to such vacuum-friendly waves like radio, we can still translate sounds that the universe is throwing at us. In the last 2 decades, we have reached the far corners of our solar system with unmanned devices, and a couple of these devices have now breached that boundary and are now listening to the interstellar voices. But are we meant to listen to these sounds? For example, let's start with our neighbor. You all know Mars, right? The shy little red planet that lives in the next orbit from our Earth's. The one we have been eyeing for a long time as our next home. Mars wasn't as lucky as the Earth when the Sun was choosing a planet to be in the Goldilocks zone, and as a result narrowly missed it, losing its weak environment completely. In current times, the interior of Mars is fairly quieter than Earth, but still that doesn't mean it's entirely serene. Quakes happen underneath the surface of Mars all the time. NASA sent the InSight lander in 2018 to give the red planet its first thorough checkup since its birth 4.5 billion years ago. With it, a seismometer so it could record seismic activity data. And in April of 2019, the little fella got its first hit. The sound you are hearing in this video was captured on April 6, 2019. The sounds were created from the ground vibrations as InSight detected 3 distinct events: Martian wind, a Mars quake, and the spacecraft's own robotic arm as it moved to take the picture. Listening to this sound reminds us of the creepy sound monoliths made in Stanley Kubrick's epic 2001: A Space Odyssey. They still give me the creeps to this day. Before we unveil this sound, there's a disclaimer. The sound you are about to hear is not only unpleasant, but it is also an audio version of a graph of the Voyager's plasma wave science observations of several months spanning 2012 to 2013. These readings mark the period at which scientists believe Voyager exited our solar system's heliopause, making it the very first sound we captured from outside our solar system, even if it was in the form of data. However, it isn't as beautiful or thrilling as one might expect, but rather quite shrill and horrifying. Could this be a sign that we were never meant to leave our home? Saturn is named after the god of the sea in Roman mythology. Long before Voyager crossed the solar system's threshold to explore the vast universe all by itself, it did us a huge favor by studying every cosmic object inside our solar system that it could reach on its way out, thus giving us information that we never had before. Voyager was the first one to indicate the presence of lightning deep within Saturn, but it was Cassini that gave us definitive proof that the name of the tempest god was quite fitting for the big blue giant of our solar system. In 2006, Cassini captured staticky crackles in radio waves and showed the chaotic environment simmering deep below Saturn's cloud top. These noises are truly a god's wrath incarnate. Another incredible recording captured by Cassini's flyby was what crossing Saturn's rings actually sounds like. 10 years after capturing Saturn's thunderstorm, Cassini gave us the thrilling experience of what it would be like to fly inside the perilous rings of Saturn. The static you are hearing was recorded by Cassini's radio and plasma wave science instrument as it crossed the plane of Saturn's rings in December of 2016. This is the closest we'll ever get to imagining what Kessel Run must have been like for Han Solo. Jupiter is the big brother of our solar system. It protects small planets in the inner orbits, including our Earth, from a lot of threatening comets and other interstellar dangers, keeping the system in balance, and is aptly named after the king of the ancient Roman gods, Jupiter. It is also a gas giant which nearly missed its opportunity to become the second star of our solar system, a brown dwarf to be precise. With so many interesting things going on with this planet, naturally, our curiosity never dies. Thanks to Cassini, in January 2001, we got to hear what a god sounds like. During its historic 20-year mission to Saturn, Cassini had to take a pit stop near Jupiter to receive a crucial gravitational boost to successfully complete its journey. During this time, Cassini captured these spooky and quite alien-sounding radio signals from Jupiter. No wonder there's always a storm brewing at the house of the thunder god of ancient Rome. However, this raging and thrilling sound wasn't the first time we heard Jupiter. While the Voyager was passing by Jupiter, it was fortunate enough to capture Jupiter's retort to the Sun called the bow shock. If you don't know what that is, here's a simple explanation. The Sun emits a steady stream of charged solar wind, which can be repelled by a strong magnetic force such as the magnetic field of a large planet. When the solar wind meets this strong magnetic force surrounding a planet, it is deflected and all its energy of motion is converted to thermal energy. This energized region is known as a bow shock. It definitely sounds like the planet is blowing off some steam like a highly pressurized cooker. This audio is highly unnerving and could remind you of some of the most stressful horror scenes in movies. The latest word that we have heard from Jupiter has quite a pleasant name called the Groovy Track. However, don't be fooled by the name. NASA collected it in February 2017 with the Juno spacecraft, named after the ancient Roman goddess and wife of Jupiter. The audio gathered by Juno is the sound of plasma waves in Jupiter's ionosphere. This one yet again would remind you of the precursor technology of the fourth dimension beings that were suggested to be behind humans' evolution in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Given that the wormhole's location in the movie was very close to Jupiter, it sure is an eerie coincidence. In 1989, the Galileo space probe was launched to study Jupiter and its moons, as well as the asteroids Gaspra and Ida. In addition to sensors to monitor the particles and fields of the solar wind throughout the interplanetary cruise, and then within Jupiter's magnetosphere, Galileo was equipped with a scan platform that carried 4 optical instruments. A high-resolution camera was complemented by a near-infrared mapping spectrometer, an ultraviolet spectrometer, an integrated photopolarimeter, and a radiometer. During 2 passes into the asteroid belt, Galileo flew past the asteroids Gaspra in 1991 and Ida in 1993, thereby providing the first close-up views of such bodies. It also discovered a tiny satellite orbiting Ida which was named Dactyl. Galileo also furnished a unique perspective of the collision of comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 with Jupiter as it closed in on the planet in July of 1994. Over the next 5 years, Galileo flew a series of orbits that produced close encounters with Jupiter's fourth largest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. While studying Galilean moons, scientists discovered some very strange plasma wave observations, which later turned out to be the evidence of these moons having their own magnetosphere. A magnetosphere is the region of space surrounding a cosmic body, where the dominant magnetic field is the magnetic field of that particular body instead of anything else, and/or the magnetic field of interplanetary space. Moreover, this discovery unveiled the constant magnetic war these moons are having with their host planet Jupiter. The violent sounds that you are about to hear come from the magnetosphere of Ganymede, Europa, and Callisto, with Callisto having the weakest magnetosphere of the 4 major moons of Jupiter. Not only are these sounds deeply disturbing, but also extremely violent and menacing. The Sun is the powerhouse of the entire solar system. Everything moves, feeds, and powers its actions directly or indirectly through the energy provided by it. Any power-producing device on Earth tends to produce a humming sound. To create energy, a device itself consumes energy and channels it by converting it from one form to another. As the material of the device moves, waves travel, and as waves travel through a medium, they create sound. NASA collected the waves traveling and bouncing inside the Sun and converted that jiggle into sound, so we can hear what goes down inside the cosmic powerhouse of a star. And eerily, the low-frequency version of it isn't much different from a generator or any other power-producing machine. Moreover, this humming can easily crawl under your skin and make you feel uneasy in no time. So tell us in the comments which sound made you the most uncomfortable. Also, what other cosmic subjects would you like us to cover next? But for now, thanks for watching Factnomenal. We'll see you next time.